Hey everybody, it's me, Undead Viking. I'm here to tell you about this game. It is called Game of the Year. Game of the Year is a card game, a kind of a take-that-ish card game, where you work as a video game publisher, video game designer, developer, what have you, and you are hiring different people that will work for you, that will work on what you're hoping will be your video game of the year. I'm going to show you how to play. This game's got the cute pixel art that we've all come to enjoy, but it's got lots of little jokes on the cards and things like that make the game fun to look at and fun to read and fun to play. Plus, the game itself is just if you're a person that enjoys like building something with cards, but also being able to try to take out somebody else's creation as well. It's something that's quite fun and quite enjoyable. But let me show you how the game's played. Then we'll come back here as we always do, and I'll tell you more about Game of the Year. Alright, this is Game of the Year, and I'm just about ready to play the first round or the first turn of the game, but I just want to kind of show you what you're looking at. There's 3 decks of cards. You have the assets, the jobs, and the development. Assets are just that. They're the assets that you use to create your Game of the Year. The jobs are actually different people that you hire that allow you to obtain those assets that will actually then create the Game of the Year. And development cards are just kind of gotcha cards and defense cards and extra power cards that just kind of break the rules in some way. Now, before the game begins, each person is going to get 2 of these cards. They're called game cards. And this is going to be the type of game that you're creating. So like a role-playing game, a graphic adventure, real-time strategy, third-person game. So, games, if you play video games, you're familiar with the genre. Each one of them has 12 things that go into the game development, and so you can see that there. And so there's the number of stars determine how much development in each one of those categories you have to use to create. Now, normally this is done before you see any of these cards, so keep that in mind. But each person is going to get 2 of these cards, and then they pick one of those 2 cards, and that's the game that they're creating. Now, so if you look at this, like you can see, like there's the coding has like a 1 star here, but like the music has and sound effects and whatever has 3 stars. Now, in order to satisfy the asset to create the game, what you have to do is you have to get, in this case, a 1-level asset in coding, and then that is satisfied, and you've created that portion of the game. Now, that doesn't mean that it can't be destroyed. There's certain attack cards and stuff that can take that away, but that'll like satisfy that portion. Whereas with the sound, you have to collect a level 1 asset, a level 2 asset, and a level 3 asset. Not like a total of 3. You actually have to get a 1, then a 2, then a 3, and you have to do it progressively. So let's just say I picked role-playing games, of course I would, as what I'm trying to create. And you put that over there. Normally that'd be in front of you, but just bear in mind so you can see what's going on. And then on your turn, what you're going to do is you have what's considered to be 5 coins. Just think of you have a portion of your money tied into the salaries of your workers, and that's 5 coins. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be trying to hire one of these 6 people. And if you have people already working, you don't have to hire somebody if you don't want to. But obviously at the beginning of the game, we don't have anybody working for us. And so this kind of works together as like I need, like in this case, like if you look here, so here we have this guy, Satoshi, and this is kind of cool. Each one of these cards, like, they have a cool little art there, and then it actually tells you, like, he's open-minded. He's regarded as a contributor in the broadening appeal of video games to a wider audience. So it kind of gives you a little background. And these little icons down here, these are the different attack symbols that people use. There's a little hammer, a broken heart, and a bomb. And what this does is it tells me that if I was ever attacked by somebody, or I could not be attacked by somebody with a broken heart attack or a hammer attack, but I'm susceptible to the bomb attack still. So he's actually pretty good. This number up here says that he can actually train up to a level 3 level of asset. So in other words, like he'd be able to do this. Now, I don't need a level 3 coding guy, obviously, because of the fact that I only need level 1. So, I'd be better, I'd probably be better off looking at this, like I have this level 3 thing here in writing, you can see there. And so then Nigel Buckland, who's a fanboy, is a huge enthusiast of graphic novels and classic films, get his ideas from a mix of both. And so you see he protects against the hearts. He can train up to level 2, which, I do need, eventually get up to level 3. But here's the trick. There's a level 3 asset out there. I can't even take that. It doesn't even help me at all. So you kind of have to go back and forth here a little bit. But what we do have is we have a level 1 asset in purple over there. And so you can see here, I do need a level 1, and so I need to hire somebody that's going to be able to train that for me. And so if we look at Lila Lopez, who is a fangirl, obsessed with the human anatomy, her workspace is full of muscled bodies. And so then she is protected against the heart attacks and the cost of 2. So I'm going to, and you can fire them, so after you get them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hire her. That's going to be 2. Now next turn, if for whatever reason I wanted to keep her, I would have 2 of the 5 available, so I'd only have 3, and so I'd have to hire somebody else. Or I could just get rid of her, fire her, send her to the discard pile, and then I'd have my full complement. Now there are cards in the dev deck, because those cards break the rules, that allow you to expand your salary cap a little bit. But so that's that. So what happens then is on my turn. Now I can skip this portion of the turn. Remember, if I'm satisfied with the workers that I have, I can skip this. Oh, and I should mention that as soon as I take a spot, I do fill that up. And so here we have Peter Mills, who is the hype maker. So kind of neat. And then we're going to put them there, so, for the next person to choose from. But so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this level 1 right there. And I'm going to put it, and now that has satisfied what I want. Now, but that doesn't mean it's going to stay there forever. Somebody could attack that and destroy that asset, and I would not have it. Now, if you'll notice, the assets have on them this little open gray lock there, and they also have this golden lock there. Now, there's a card in the dev deck that allows you to lock your progress, in which case you would go like this once that is done. And then once that's locked, I'll show you one of those cards here in just a little bit. Once that is locked, it can't be taken away from you. But in this case, since it is done, but I don't have, it isn't locked up, then I can't do it. I have to leave it like that to show everybody that, that's locked in, not locked in technically, but I've satisfied that asset that I have for my game, and that might be something that lets everybody else know what they should go after. So of course then I replace the one that is available like that, and then what's going to happen is it goes around. Now at the end of my turn, if I don't have any dev cards, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw one from the deck, and I'm going to have that. You have a maximum of 3 of these cards. So here we have Crossroads. You took a long time working on the project without a clear point of view. Stop and think about the next step. This is an attack card. So if I wanted to do this, I could play this on somebody and make them lose their turn. And so then, so they have to skip what they're doing. I don't want to do that right away because, obviously we're not, I have no idea what's going on as far as who gets close. It's probably a good card to hold on to if somebody's getting really close to finishing off their game. So everybody's going to take a turn, and what happens then is you wipe the slate clean, and you replace them with 6 new cards, and then you start up the next turn. You keep going along this process until somebody finally completes all of the necessary requirements of producing their game and getting it out there. Now, if it wasn't for the dev cards, obviously, this would be easily done, because you're making sure you have the right cards available, the salary available, and you're getting the right things out there. But the dev cards are what makes this game fun. I'm just going to grab a few off the top here, and I'm going to show them to you. So, you have dichotomy. Everything must belong to art or music. Nothing can belong simultaneously to give parts the logic of give and take. You lose an art and a music asset, and so and it's the highest impact thing. Notice it is a hammer attack, so if they have protection against that, it wouldn't work. So these are the attacks. Here is another lose next turn, wasted. And now I kind of like the fact that like the losing the next turn is here's it's different. Like here's Crossroads, you lose a turn, and wasted, you lose a turn. So it's just kind of like they could have done it in any way, shape, or form, but they did actually go to the trouble of making different cards. They could have just said lose a turn, that's the whole card. But Garage Band, big dreams start in small places like your parents' garage. By the way, tell your mom that I love her cookies. But then you can't hire next turn, so you apply that to somebody and they're not able to change their workers. Here's a defense card that would, if somebody attacks a heart, find at work. The most productive work at that which avoid the discard of a level 1 worker. So if somebody tries to, get rid of one of your level 1 workers, you prevent that from happening. Like lose one 3D graphics asset, because here's the hammer on that, but if you can protect against that. And there are cards that are just straight out Safety Halo. Your team has a solid development strategy and can withstand any ambush that appears. Block any one negative effect. And so you just play that if somebody actually plays one of those cards. And only find, like I said, there's those cards that lock in the work that you've done. And then there's also certain cards that overcome the odds, and notice the art. The art's just awesome in this game. You feel so good when you see your game progress in such a short time, especially when your goal is big. You can pick an asset above the level. So like if you had a level 2 worker, they can pick a level 3, or a level 1 worker pick a level 2, and so that you can get higher than what you're supposed to. And then I told you I was going to show you one of those lock-in. Of course, I got to find it now. But oh, here's one I wanted to show you too. If you don't like what the pool has, you can play this and refresh the job pool. So you can refresh the job pool. And of course there's ones also, here's one, that refreshes the asset pool. So if there wasn't a card in there that you want, there's cards that you could use that allow you to refresh that so you can try again. So there's also a card that allows you an extra coin to hire. So you can, purchase, like if you used up 4 out of your 5 on a guy and you wanted an extra 1 coin to get a level 2 person, then you could do that. Here we go. So, under control. Your years of experience with complex developments allows you to put an end to a difficult category. Secure the assets of a job. You have to have all of the assets. So when you play that, what happens is then you get to flip it over and do so like that. Now there's one other way to get those locked up, and I'm just going to show you one of those cards. There are gold level employees. And you notice how they have this little lock on their gold level employees. They cost 4. They fully protect against everything, and they're also level 3, but when they work on it, they can also lock the assets as well, so they can't be destroyed and taken away from you. So there you go. The game just continues, goes around the table until one person eventually makes their game of the year. Whoever does that first wins the game. It's easier said than done. There's a lot of table talk. There's a lot of negotiation that goes on. There's a lot of talking as far as who's getting close, who do we need to stop. And it's definitely a game of conflict that is also got a really cool theme and it has a lot of fun. Just as far as just watching your game virtually develop in front of you. But I'll touch on all of that more in my conclusion, which I'll do right now. Alright, thank you very much for sitting through the gameplay portion of the video. When I was but a wee lad, many years ago, I was set on the idea that I was going to be a computer programmer. I thought the idea of being able to sit in front of a computer and type in some stuff and then make video games or make computer games was fantastic, and it was just something that just excited me a great deal. Now, I never achieved that dream. I don't know. I didn't realize it was going to be work. So after I took a few, I remember being in grade school, and I remember taking some cool classes that our school system offered as far as learning, certain language, computer languages and things like that, and I found them to be very interesting and a lot of fun. But it never really progressed any further past that idea. I remember with my Commodore 64, I bought some computer programming books, and I remember trying to teach myself how to do certain things. But man, it was difficult. It was one of those things that it never really clicked for me. And which is weird now, because I work my real life job. I work with a computer 8 hours a day, and I'm working with computer languages and things like that. So I never really became the computer programmer game player that I wanted to be, but I now do something sort of like I wanted to do, but it turned out it wasn't really as glamorous as I thought it was going to be. But regardless, my point is that I like the whole idea of what goes into making a computer game or a video game. And I find that, when you think about it, it's just all the little nuts and bolts that people do, is just that coding that eventually, becomes populated. You know, I'm playing like Fallout 4 right now. I mean, just like that game's amazing, and I'm having a blast playing it. But you know, the beginnings of that game, you know, are just like anything else. It, you know, has a game engine, it has a game code, and then somewhere along the way somebody like put forth the first few blocks of code that just started creating that game and starting making, and I find that fascinating. Now, obviously, you probably couldn't make a game that in depth as far as like the creation of the game itself. But Game of the Year does take the whole process of the development of the game and does a very good job, in my opinion, of replicating that situation. I've read lots of blogs and stuff like that about video game publishers and video game developers. And a lot of the things that I read in that, you know, have substance that's within this game. Now, at its heart and at its mechanism, this is a like a tableau creation game, or like not really a deck building game, but it's like a card resource game. And you know, and it's a very take thatty game. You know, it's like, here, I'm going to take that away from you. That thing that you were creating, that thing that you've been working on for the last 2-3 turns, I'm going to take that away from you. And I'm going to destroy it. So, you know, I watched you climb the ladder, and now I've kicked the ladder out from underneath you, and now you have to start over. And you know, I understand that like there's like a certain level of that people don't enjoy, but this game does go out of its way to make sure that you have the capability of defending yourself against that, and so you have this wonderful seesaw act of like defending yourself and also creating at the same time, and trying to make sure that you can do both. And it is very possible to do both, but you have to make sure that you have the right cards and the right assets and the right people working for you to have all that happen. And there's a nice juggling act that goes on with it. The best part about this game is like it is like any good card game. It doesn't take a long time to get to the fun. It starts being enjoyable right away. Every time I played it with somebody new, everybody reads the stuff that's on the cards and they giggle and they look at the art, and then like there's all kinds of little Easter eggs and things like that within the art itself that you'll see once you actually like see the game, I guess, and see all the cards in the game. And so it's just one of those things that's highly enjoyable, and it's just fun to look at as you play. Now, nobody's ever going to accuse it of being the most in-depth and most strategic and most like heavy game of all time. But I can safely say that my plays of Game of the Year have been very fun and have been enjoyed by everybody at the table. So, if you're a person that likes this pixel art, that likes the idea of creating a game, or like that theme, and you enjoy card games, I would strongly suggest you take a look at this one. And if you're looking for something that's a little bit lighter, that you know your gaming group can play, you know, like I've said this many games that build up to the bigger game, or the wind down from the bigger game, or also just something you can play, you know, sitting around your lunchroom during your hour lunch as you're eating your sandwich and drinking your soda and having fun with your gaming buddies before you have to go back to your real job, which very well might be creating a video game. So, all right, awesome. So that is Game of the Year. If you have any questions about the game, please post those. I'll answer those to the best of my ability. I greatly appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. And then this is me, the Undead Viking, telling you to have yourself one heck of an awesome day. All right, bye-bye.